Hello and welcome to a humble Highland home. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm just back after a week away from the croft and I'm having to put the environet back over the kale as the pigeons had had a wee feast while I was away. You may notice in this video and in future videos that we've got a couple of feline friends that have come to join us here at the croft. And these kittens think everything is just a new toy to be played with. The two kittens are brothers and they have a very close relationship. We picked them up at the end of July and they've been gradually getting used to the big outdoors in the last couple of weeks. So after my week away, I'm now playing a little bit of catch up and making my autumn changeover in the polytunnel, with my main crop being garlic. These garlic bulbs were the best of the crop that I harvested from the garden in late June of this year. They were then cured in the garage before putting into storage, ready to plant out again this year. And hopefully with this system we won't ever have to buy garlic again, and I'll be able to build a bigger planting stock year on year. I've separated the bulbs into cloves and taken off the outer paper layer, but left the inside layer on each of the cloves just to add that protection for them. Up here in the Highlands of Scotland, I only grow hardneck garlic, which fares better in the north, and I enjoy a harvest of garlic scapes before the main bulbs are ready. But first I need to clear the polytunnel of the nets that I've had hanging to dry, and also the last of the summer harvests. We still have some tomatoes that are in the process of ripening and some green tomatoes. These will still be good to use in the kitchen. Even if a tomato is just showing slight signs of turning colour, I will pop it on the kitchen counter with other tomatoes and an overripe banana to finish its ripening process. The green tomatoes are going to be sliced and some chopped up and frozen for winter cooking. The cold weather is already showing signs of damage on some of the plants, so they need to come out before they attract any pests or diseases, which I really don't want in the polytunnel. To remove the tomato and cucumber plants, for most parts I cut them off at the base of the stem and I leave the root system in the ground. If it's too big, then I will just twist the root ball out with minimum disturbance to the ground. The stems and the foliage is great for the compost at this time of year, once they've all been chopped up into small parts. And whilst I'm busy in the polytunnel, Adam has taken some time off work to push on with the new shed and log store. It's really nice to see the shed walls now starting to take shape. And wherever we are, the kitty cats are not far behind. Back in the polytunnel, as I'm taking out the tomato and cucumber plants, I'm also pulling out the climbing strings and rolling them up, securing them, ready for the next time I need them. Next on the harvest list is pulling and storing the last of the bambino carrots. There's not too many of these left now, so the smaller carrots I'm going to take into the kitchen, and the bigger ones I'm going to store in a bucket with some damp compost. This is a system that I've used before, so I take off the green tops and I check the carrots for any diseases or damaged bits, and then I just layer the carrots in between the soil or the compost up to the top of the bucket. Don't store any that have got any damaged bits. I would take them straight into the kitchen and cut off the bits that you can use. When I add the carrots to the bucket, I make sure that they're all spaced out and none of them are touching. Then they're ready for the next layer of compost, so that the carrots are surrounded by compost completely. As the weather gets colder, I might add a layer of cardboard or fleece on top to prevent them from freezing completely. However, the rest of the carrots are outside, and apart from being mulched, they will be left in the ground until I need them, just making the most of nature's cold storage. But this bucket of carrots has been labelled and will live here until I need them. The rest of the carrot tops can be used in the kitchen, but on this occasion they're going to be a welcome addition to the compost pile, getting ready for next year's garden. I don't yet have an irrigation system in the polytunnel, so it's been good old watering cans and hose pipe for me. But I have been using these clay spikes that hold a bottle of water, which allows the water to slowly seep down through the clay through to the roots of the plants. They have served me well, but I don't leave these out over winter time as they would freeze and crack. So I'm taking them in and I'll give them a clean and store them wrapped in a protective layer to combat the cold. And I try to generally weed and tidy the growing spaces as I go, but I am doing a final clearing before adding a thick layer of homemade compost, which also contains well-rotted manure, which the garlic will thank me for. This is the first area that I'm planting up with garlic, and there'll also be some in the middle rows as well. I think I mentioned in the previous video when I was adding some homemade compost to the garden that this is where you really see how much money you can save by making your own compost and using it directly back into your own garden. And it's also an absolute delight to see the health of the soil improving with each barrow load or each bucket load. This is Kebi for short, that has come to help me plant the garlic today. People have got different ways of planting garlic. You can make a trench and plant directly into that, or you can use a dibber and make a hole and plant directly into the hole. If the soil is soft, I have even just pushed the garlic clove directly into the soil. However, I wouldn't recommend this as it can damage the area at the bottom of the clove where the roots will grow. So I would be a bit careful with this method, or avoid it if you can. Some people do use a spacing frame to get the perfect spacing in between your garlic, but I haven't got there yet. I might in the future as I increase the amount that I grow, but I generally plant them depth-wise 2 to 3 times the height of the clove, and in between the garlic I plant them 3 to 5 inches between them. And I like to plant in rows because it leaves space in between if I choose to interplant a row of something in springtime. So the interplanting can be growing whilst the garlic is finishing off, and then I pick the garlic and leave the interplanted crop to continue to grow. But this is just an option. Then I make sure that all the newly planted garlic cloves are covered over with a layer of soil before adding a mulch topping. And this year I'm trying out some natural wool as a mulch. I have cut back the parsley plant, and there's also a volunteer parsley that I've just left to grow, and hopefully the two plants will give me a nice crop for next year. And alongside these I've planted some wild rocket already, and these will be accompanied by winter salads, which are Winter Destiny, and also a corn salad, which is a lamb's lettuce, and I'm also adding some pak choy. These seedlings are still quite small, so they might not survive in here, but the worst that can happen is they go to feed the soil in form of a cover crop. I've got some lovely peas seedlings in this tray, and these are what my youngest granddaughter planted the last time she was here, and peas are great for little fingers to handle and plant, so we are going to be using these as pea shoots. This wee harvest is coming into the kitchen with me just now, and the carrots will be stored in water in a jar. The parsley is going to get dried, and some will go into some ice cubes, and the smallest garlic cloves are going to be made into either a garlic infused oil or into a honey based cough syrup. As I finish up here today, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with me at our humble Highland home. I am also absolutely delighted to be able to welcome so many new subscribers that have joined our wee community here at a humble Highland home. Thank you and welcome. But for now, take care of yourself and others, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.